New CNN poll out today on the 2016 presidential race, and Bernie Sanders is beasting. So for the first time, he's officially beating every single Republican candidate. And it's not like they did the poll in a really vague way where you have to, interpret that from it. No, when they asked them heads up, this person versus this person, who do you like more? Bernie Sanders wins. So, for example, we got Bernie Sanders versus Jeb Bush. Bernie Sanders gets 48%, Jeb Bush gets 47%. When they said, okay, well, how about Bernie Sanders versus Scott Walker? This considered by many to be, the person who has the best chance of winning. Bernie Sanders, 48%, Scott Walker, 42%, beating him by even more. How about Sanders versus Trump? Bernie Sanders, 59%, Donald Trump, 38%. Now, it gets even funnier because when you look at other aspects of the poll, so when you move away from like the heads up part of the poll where they say this person versus this person, overall, who's the favorite on the Republican side? Donald Trump. Oh, that's incredible. Oh, that's incredible, and that's so sad, because this is now like the third or fourth poll that we've covered where Donald Trump is leading. So if you really think about it, the race is unfolding in a way up to this point, which is the best it could possibly be for Bernie Sanders. Now, obviously, the elephant in the room is Hillary Clinton, and Hillary Clinton is still leading, according to virtually every poll, above and beyond Bernie Sanders, but she has more name recognition. She's been around for a while. She ran in 2008. The media speculation around her is ridiculous and absurd, as it's always been, so she gets a lot of free press. But Bernie Sanders is surging, and Bernie Sanders is beating every single Republican candidate. So what's the conclusion here to take away from this? The conclusion is very simple. The idea that he has absolutely, positively no chance and it's impossible for him to win, it is untrue. Now, I'm not saying he's going to win because I don't have a fucking crystal ball, and I don't pretend to have powers that I don't have where I make some shit up. I don't know if he's going to win, but I'm saying it is certainly, theoretically possible where he will win. He's not the Carly Fiorina of the left. He's not the Bobby Jindal of the left, where they go into the race and you're going, really? Really? And let's face it, a lot of people who are Democrats said that from day one. They were like, okay, well, Bernie's entering, but he has no chance, and I'm not even going to entertain him, and yada, yada. But you were wrong to say that. You were wrong to say that, and it turns out the more that Bernie Sanders speaks, the more people like him. The more they hear his message, and the more he focuses on the issues, which is all he does, the more people go, oh, look, there's a guy who treats me like an adult, and there's a guy who's speaking to my concerns and my needs. He's not somebody to scoff at, he's not somebody to brush aside, and as I said before, I think the only thing that can really derail him is if Hillary Clinton's campaign, if they're smart enough to just play the Me Too game with Bernie Sanders. Now, what's hilarious is the entire mainstream media is saying that she should do the opposite to try to win, but they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and I do. So a progressive message not only wins in a Democratic primary, but it also wins in the general election. So why wouldn't you just copy Bernie and go, yeah, me too. I want universal health care. Yeah, me too. I want to get out of the wars overseas. Yeah, me too. If Hillary Clinton plays the yeah, me too game, then that's the only way that she's going to beat Bernie Sanders. If she tries to be as liberal as him and as progressive as him, or she tries to go to the left of him, that's the only way that she's going to hang on. So the media will tell her, go to the right, go to the right, go to the right. And if she happens to listen, ooh, that could be good news for Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders can basically pull a Barack Obama. What did Obama do? Obama came up to the left of Hillary. Everybody said, Hillary's inevitable, Hillary's inevitable, Hillary's inevitable, and then Obama won. So it's certainly possible to beat her. And a guy who's only focused on the issues, and a guy who's really aggressive and hammers home his message, and a guy who could take on any of the Republicans, oh, it would be awesome. Now, that's the other aspect of this that drives me crazy. People act like, oh, well, if Bernie were to get through a primary, which he wouldn't, he'd definitely lose in the general. Again, I say the exact opposite is true. The hardest race Bernie has is going to be the primary, because he's up against Hillary Clinton. That's the hardest race that he's going to have. But if Bernie were to somehow get through the primary, he would defeat any of the Republicans. He absolutely, you're telling me, I don't give a fuck, you pick the Republican. Scott Walker is going to beat Bernie Sanders in the debates and is going to say more intelligent things or is going to get more people to like him when he's the epitome of a sleazebag, of an insider politician who's cutting backroom deals. I mean, just look at him. So you're telling me Jeb Bush is going to beat Bernie Sanders in a general election? See, that's the thing. When it gets to the general election level, it's just down to two people, so the issue of raising money isn't as important as it is in the primaries, or as important as it is if you're talking about races like at the House of Representatives or in the Senate. See, their money is very, very important, and 93% of the time, the person that raises the most money wins. When you get to a general election, it's only two people left, and we're talking about a situation where they're going to talk about him no matter what, and he will absolutely own any of the Republicans in a debate. So what's the best case scenario? I'll tell you what the best case scenario is right now. Bernie Sanders wins the primary, beats Hillary Clinton, and then in the general you have somebody like Scott Walker who wins on the Republican side, and Trump decides to jump in as a third-party candidate. You know what would happen then? Trump would grab a significant chunk of the Republican base as an independent candidate, and Bernie Sanders would run away with the election. Everybody should be saying, that's what I want to happen. I want Bernie Sanders to win the primary. I want Scott Walker or some other dipshit, even Jeb Bush on the Republican side, to win the primary, and I want Trump to jump in as an independent candidate. Oh, good googly moogly. If that happens, it's possible, dare I dream, of Bernie Sanders' presidency. But I'm just letting you know right now, and the whole point of me giving you these numbers right here is to say, I'm not saying he's gonna win, but what I am saying is it's certainly possible that he can win.